So my name is Chandler Jordan. I am the program director of SC Economics. Most of you get emails from me, but some of you actually don't ever get to see my face, so here it is. I am so glad that you guys are here with us tonight. Again, we really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule. I know school is hectic right now. Things are crazy, so we really appreciate you spending this afternoon with us or this evening with us. And learning from the wonderful Harmonica. And so I'm going to let Harmonica take it away. Harmonica is one of our South Carolina financial literacy master teachers, and she is going to talk to you guys today specifically about how she uses color the concepts in her 7th grade geography classroom. And so we'll make sure that it's applicable to everyone. So don't feel like, oh, I don't teach that, so this is not going to happen. Nope, we got you covered. Just hang out with us, ask questions. I'm going to monitor the chat. But other than that, well, Jim, you wanted to say a few words. Sorry, Monica.
I remember.
As the economics CEO, Jim Morris is here. I'm going to let him say a couple of words.
That would be. I work with Chandler at SC Economics. I am not a former classroom teacher, so I'm sort of called Mr. Outside. So I try to take care of things external. And Chandler is obviously is a class act. She's been an AP level teacher at White Knoll, and I had to drag her out of the classroom to be our program director. And she has a sidekick, Amanda Stiegelbauer, who is also a very good classroom teacher, but she stays in the classroom, and so we just get her on occasion. But I do want to say thank you all for participating. That we don't do as many things for the lower level grades as we do for the high schools and middle schools, but it's so important to get people to understand the concepts, because it's kind of like reading. If you learn to read early, the rest just follows, and you understand the concepts and everything else. So these basic programs are it's so incredible, and it can accelerate a child's learning so much. It's also pretty fun because I just, ran around all over trying to make sure we got this calendar printed. And we've got about, 4,500 copies of this, and we'll be mailing them out to all the schools. So the winners really, they get quite a bit of notoriety in addition to their checks and a really cool framed picture, and then a whole bunch of other stuff. So and they get invited to our awards day, which sadly was not a particularly awesome event this year. We had to go Zoom, which just isn't quite that fun. But there'll be life on the other side of this. But thanks again for participating, and please engage with Chandler. She's wonderful. And I will probably be going out here in just a few minutes. But thank you, Harmonica, for doing this. It's really great. It's a big difference between receiving and actually doing. And as you know, it's a whole different thing to take a test than it is to give a test. And I appreciate you taking the WISE test. It didn't kill you.
No, I survived.
And so we certainly encourage other teachers to do the same. So good luck to you all, and thanks for participating, Harmonica in particular. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jim. All right, Harmonica, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay.
You're now officially the co-host.
Okay.
Guys, like I said, I will monitor the chat if you have any questions, but take it away.
Okay. And we got to remember how to get it to come back on. Can you see it?
Now, yeah, you got to go to share screen.
Okay.
On the bottom of the Zoom.
It blanked out. So I got the same thing I got the last time.
Did you have it on presentation mode?
Yes.
Remember, we had to take it off presentation mode to get it.
I have it in, it's in slides. Okay, I was hoping that it would work this time. Okay, I can see it, I think.
I think everyone on here, yes, we got it. There we go.
I was praying a quick prayer.
Everyone can understand technical difficulties this time around. I think we all understand. So awesome. Yes, ma'am, we can see it. Take it away.
Okay, great. Thank you. I want to first thank Chandler and Mr. Jim and Amanda for inviting me to share my experiences with Color the Concepts. I have been doing it for quite a while, and I enjoy doing this. This is one of the activities I do close to the end of the year around test taking time, kind of relieve some of the stress, kind of therapeutic. And so it has been it's been a reward for me. So it is a pleasure to be able to share some of the ideas and experiences that I've had with working with this particular contest with South Carolina economics. So with that being said, I'll go ahead. Okay, so I am a middle school teacher and I teach in Richmond School District 2, and I have been teaching for 24 years. I have taught in middle school, high school, private school, alternative school, the college level. So I have a variety of experiences all the way around. But middle school, those of you who teach middle school, you know it's a different kind of beast. so I have been teaching in Richmond School District 2 at Summit Parkway Middle School, now going on my 9th year at Summit Parkway Middle School. So the purpose of my presentation tonight is to illustrate how I teach geography, and geography is a new standard for this school year for 7th grade. So it has been challenging, and it has come with opportunities to think outside the box. So today I would like to share with you how I'm learning as I go, how to incorporate economics and geography into my classes, and how I can use the color the concept poster contest this school year to emphasize those skills that we're teaching in geography. And so my I can statement is I can explain how geography impacts an individual's present and future economic status using geographical skills as well as economic concepts. So Chandler shared with me that some of our guests are elementary school teachers, and we have a knack for being able to make things work even when it doesn't appear that it can. So I don't have any standards identified from the middle school level, but just to give a connection of how South Carolina standards tie in with the concept idea, I selected 2 standards from 7th grade and from the high school level, just to illustrate how we can justify the use of this particular contest in our classes. So I give you a moment to kind of look over it for a second. If you teach middle school, 6th grade, this contest can be used to illustrate your standards in 6th grade with the new standards, I think is 6.5, where it talks about the 1920s economic depression. And if you're an 8th grade teacher, the new standards, I think, is 8.5. It talks about the ending of the Great Depression as it moves into World War II, and all of which are times where you can kind of blend in the events of the stock market crash. And when I taught 7th grade last year and we were using world history as our standards, that is where I plugged in the color the concept poster contest. I used it as an introduction to the stock market, the crash of the stock market, and I illustrated with students the 6 concepts from the contest that can be used to explain what happened in the 1920s. And so from there, I used that as an opportunity for kids to kind of put those thoughts together and illustrate it in a creative way. So very quickly, I told Chandler I'm not one to do a lot of talking, so I have an outline. Hopefully I can stay within it, and I know we've all had a long day today, so I don't want to belabor this longer than we need to, but I want to be able to give you the ideas that will help you in your classroom. So we're going to start with defining geography and economic studies. I want to be able to show you how I have aligned geography and the economic concepts, and how you can take that information and apply it to an average strategy known as the Freire model. And then I want to walk you through the color the concepts ideas, the 6 economic terms that are used for the contest to help students understand economics. And then I'm going to give you a challenge. We're asking our kids to study these concepts and then draw a picture. I'm going to give you the opportunity to do the same, okay? So at the end of the presentation, we're going to use an app called Pear Deck to illustrate the concepts as a student would have done if you give this challenge to them. And then towards the end, another average strategy, in 20 words or less, can you summarize what you learned tonight, okay? And then I'll turn it back over to Chandler so she can explain to you how you can get your money. Okay. So one of the things I would like to do, and one of the things I was forced to do this school year, being that I was teaching a new standard, and I wanted to continue to use the color the concept this school year, but I wasn't sure how I could do it with geography. I didn't know how to make it fit. So I took some time to try to define the terms. And when you do a definition search of geography and economics, what are some of the things it has in common? What are the things that they have in common? So here I noticed that it's a study, distribution of resources in geography and ways we use those resources. And so with that being in the back of my mind, I took the concepts that are introduced in the contest and I tried to make a matrix to see how it ties with geography. And I'm doing all this year, this summer, because this is a new curriculum for me. So I was trying to figure out how it's all going to work. And so in doing so, I put together a matrix that looks like this. Here are all the economic concepts that students are asked to draw or choose from to draw for the contest. And here are the basic definitions of those concepts. And I apologize, it's so small. I was trying to get it all in that slide so I can show the comparison. And here are the geographical skills that were introduced this year to 7th grade social studies teachers. And what I tried to do is try to figure out what were the economic activities that were in common with the geographical skills and the actual concepts. And so I tried to match them up. And this is not a perfect science here. When we talk about geographical skills and the distribution of patterns, we're focusing on the activities of how certain companies, how certain activities are spaced out in a particular area and how that would impact that area. And one of the things that you will focus on will be goods and services. Not only goods and services, but how those goods and services are distributed among that one little region. And are there enough goods and services to go around? Mapping was connected to producers and consumers, because you can map out where people may put their business, where customers may shop. A scale, what impacts one area may not necessarily impact another area in the same way, and that could tie with productive resources. Modeling, I mean, for geography, that is referred to as creating graphs, pie graphs, bar graphs, line graphs. And one of the concepts that's studied in the economics color, the concept is opportunity cost. How can we illustrate what people have to give up in order to have something else? And another concept, gathering evidence and communicating those findings. What do we know about what we have available to us, and how much research can we do in a particular region to make sure that everybody has what they need? And then the last one, conditions, connections, and regions. How are we connected? How does geography connect to what we need? Creating specialization in trade. You have something I want, I have something you want. How can we make that connection within the region that we stay in? And so I took it from that perspective, but then I wanted to see what it looks like from a different perspective. So I flipped the chart around, and this is what it looks like now. And I was trying to get a better understanding of how to incorporate the economic concepts into my class this year, since this is totally different for me. And being that if you haven't done the contest before, it may be different for you as well. So this is one way I'm trying to get my mind to rethink about how I have done the contest in the past. And so this is a matrix that we'll share with you later on so that you can incorporate some of these concepts as well. Now, the most important thing is trying to remember the definitions of those words and how they come together. And I thought about this activity that's often taught through Avid, the Frail model, and taking those concepts and having students to, one, define what each one of those words mean and what the concept means, the characteristics behind the concepts, provide some examples. Now, the hardest part about this is trying to find the non-examples. But I figure that if you use the matrix and reverse those words and you define your economic terms in one side and make your non-examples your geography terms and then flip it, make your definitions the geography definitions, and then the non-examples will be your economic concepts and how they all tie together. And this assignment will allow students to learn the concepts, try to get examples, and as they're thinking about it, they're moving or progressing towards completing the contest, the poster contest, the drawing itself. Okay, before I move on, do you have any questions or comments you would like to make?
Out of curiosity, has anyone used the Frayer model in their classroom, whether it's for something like this or something different? Okay, a couple of people. Cool. All right, awesome. Keep going.
Okay. So let's get into the contest. The rules of the contest are stated very simple. You'll be surprised though how students want to kind of turn it around because they don't think it's that simple. Can I do this? No, this is all you have to do. So you want your students to complete this as a hand-drawn 8.5 by 11 sheet of white paper. Students always want to kind of use the computer to, I know for me, they want to use the computer to do this. They don't like how their handwriting looks. They can't draw. This is tacky, this is ugly, and they don't appreciate the beauty of the art. So to get them to say, hey, come on, just try it. If it's a stick person, that's fine too. Just make sure you add some color to it. So making them understand that perfection is not the ultimate goal. Your understanding of the concept is what we're trying to get them to understand. All the letters on the poster needs to be traced in black, and out in any drawing that you have needs to be traced in black. This allows for the printing of the drawing to come clearly through and make the calendar itself very attractive. So students have the tendency to want to just leave it in pencil or write it or use a thin little pen to trace it, but the idea is to make the drawing stand out and make it bold. Students can choose one of the 6 economic concepts, and they have to make sure that they keep a 1/2 inch around the edges of the paper so the good drawing, all the good stuff they put on it is not cut off when it goes into production. And the one thing that makes many of them mad is they have to spell the concept correctly. They can have the most gorgeous picture and they are so proud to turn it in, and they have one letter left off on it and they have to start it all over, and that just makes them very upset. But you know, you have to do it right if you want to be considered for the calendar. So here are the 6 concepts that students are asked to draw. If you choose to do goods and services, both terms must be on the poster in order to qualify. Opportunity cost is another term that they are asked to draw or can choose from. Producer and consumer. If you choose producer and consumer as your poster, both of those terms must be on the calendar. Productive resources, this is the most challenging one to draw for some students. There are 4 concepts or 4 terms that are included in the productive resources, and I'm going to share them with you in just a minute, the definitions of all of them. But with productive resources, they have to have at least 2 of the 4 resources in order to qualify. And some students find that a little difficult. Your high order thinking students, those who can look at it and visualize what it should look like, they can jump on it quickly, but not many students choose this particular one to draw because of the 4 terms that must be included, or 2 of the 4 terms that must be included. Now, the one they grasp very quickly and understand the most is scarcity. They know that one without a shadow of a doubt. They know that's not having enough of something. So you'll see a lot of pictures of a lot of people fighting over something in their drawings. And I'm going to illustrate for you some of my past entries that won, and how you'll see how the connection to scarcity was like, oh, I can draw that one. That one's easy. And opportunity costs tend to be a favorite as well. And specialization in trade, if your students choose that particular concept to draw, they have to make sure that both of those terms are included. So to get a better understanding of what this will look like in reality, I want to share with you the definitions of those 6 concepts and show you some images from past images to give you an idea how it would look in the calendar. So this is the first one, goods and services. Students are being asked to draw something that represents a tangible, touchable object desired by a customer and can be supplied by a producer. So some examples could be a car dealership, a bookstore, a toy store, buying a house in a new neighborhood, shopping in the mall. That's a good. That's something that's tangible that can be touched. Now, these goods can be used as a part of a service that's intangible. It's producing something for the economy. It's a service that you provide. And some examples of service would be education, medical care, taxi service, police protection, counseling. These are some of the services that tie back into those goods. So the student that illustrated this particular concept, this student illustrated in terms of there are some supplies in a classroom. These are your goods, as you can see on the left side of the picture. It's a table, some items on the table, a rug, a file cabinet. And then on the right side of it, you see a teacher providing a service using those goods, teaching their students. And this illustration would be a possible choice in the contest to illustrate goods and services. Here are the things that you can buy, can touch, consumers want to have at their disposal, and then you have someone providing a service using those goods. This is one of the concepts that your students can choose from. And if this concept is selected, they must make sure that the words goods and services are included in the drawing. Opportunity cost. Opportunity cost, this is a favorite for students. They get the idea that if I have 50 cents, I can't buy everything I want. I have to make a choice. I'm gonna have to give up something to buy something else. So a lot of the illustrations will appear with someone thinking about what they want to buy and having to make that decision, making economic decisions. You can't buy everything you want. You have to do a process of elimination. You have to make a decision on what's most important at that time. So this gives students an opportunity to learn about choices and how to manage their money. And so a lot of students can get that concept rather quickly and can draw an image to illustrate that. Producer and consumers. Students get this concept as well. They know that they can illustrate someone who has a business and they make a profit from that business. They provide something, they produce something that the consumer, the buyer wants. And so they illustrate this concept as this illustration has here, a lemonade stand or some type of store. The middle school students like to draw images of a shoe store where they can buy their famous tennis shoes, and the customer have a certain pair of shoes that they want to buy from the producer who has it in their store. With this concept, students must have both words, producer and consumer, illustrated on the poster. And now this is the one I was telling you earlier, productive resources. It is a good concept. It causes the student to think. They have to really put a little bit more effort to draw this particular concept. And for that reason, they will shy away from it. every year I have one bold person that will do it, and they'll start it and they'll stop and say, well, can I just do 2 instead of 4? And so this one, you really have to be imaginative. You really have to understand how all the processes and pieces come together. So in this particular category, you have to have an image of something that's natural, a natural resource. And you have to illustrate a human resource, a capital resource, and an entrepreneur resource. Now, to be eligible for the contest, you can choose 2 of the 4. But I always tell my students, if you really want to be over the top and really want to be recognized, see how you can incorporate all 4. And this young lady here, she was an 8th grader. She completed this poster contest by illustrating a forest in the top right-hand corner. And she then drew a manufacturing company that will take the lumber and create it into something. And the idea she wants to portray in this drawing is the making of a pencil, a paintbrush, I should say. And then the paintbrush goes to the store where you make capital and entrepreneurs selling items that you may want. And then this artist is the one who is going to purchase it and create a painting. So it's very, very detailed, very artistically done, very thoughtful. And a lot of students don't want to put that much time into doing it, but those who do really produce really good work using this concept. For this concept, again, you have to have 2 of the 4 terms included in the drawing to be qualified. Okay, this is one of the top favorites. Every year I have 90 students and I'll get 80 drawings of scarcity. I get 80 drawings of scarcities of all various ways they can explain it. In many ways that they can think of. So scarcity is not having enough of something. And it's always typically illustrated with someone fighting over the last of something. So this one, you will be able to get your students to draw really quick and to understand the concept. They understand the concept very quickly. There's not enough and I want it and you can't have it. Our spirit of selfishness really shows up in this particular concept. So students will take hold of this one quickly. And typically when I'm teaching the contest to students, I start with scarcity, kind of build their confidence to think about the economic terms, and then help them walk through the last 5 and see the connection that they all relate to economics. They all relate to you making a choice about how to use resources wisely. And then I'll get a few that will break away from that word. 1, because they don't want to do the same thing everyone else is doing. And 2, they begin to see the connection between this particular concept and the other 5 concepts that they can choose from. And specialization in trade. This particular concept, initially students are a little confused by it, and I haven't yet figured out what the where the confusion come in at. My only guess is they see the word specialization and to them the word's too big. And so they don't realize that this is a partnership. This is a connection between 2 people or 2 companies. You have something I want, I have something you want, and for us to really survive, we need to make it happen. And I like using this concept when I talk about the Great Depression, because at that time we have people who have lost their jobs, they have no place to stay, they have no food, and in order to survive, everybody has to stick together. And you may have something I need, and I may have something that you need. And if we come together, we can survive this economic crisis that we're going through. And when I put it to that and put it in those terms, students began to say that this one is not as bad as they thought, and they come up with different ideas as to how they can illustrate specialization in trade. And in this poster, a student illustrated that she had sunflower seeds, the farmer had potatoes, and they both needed each other, so they did a trade-off. When you complete this particular drawing, students must have both concepts illustrated as well. And so here are some examples of my students who have participated in the past and their drawings that they have won. Students who compete are treated like kings and queens. They really are. And I always tell them, please make sure I have at least one of you win, because I want to have a hot lunch for a change. So the students who are selected, they get to have a luncheon with their parents and with their teacher. The South Carolina Economic Council makes them feel special. They take their picture when they walk into the conference center where the competition is held. They find their pictures nicely framed, displayed where everyone can see it. And when their parents see it for the first time, particularly one down at the bottom with the little fishes, I tell you a funny story about that one. The 2018 winner I had, this young lady did not want to participate in this contest at all. And she fought me tooth and nail. I told them it was a grade attached to it. She just did not care. She did not want to do it. She half-heartedly did it. And she told me, you bet not turn this in. you know, our students are a little different now. So she explained her animosity of me not allowing her to participate. Unfortunately, her picture got mixed in with the rest of them, and it was submitted. and she won. She won, and she was surprised that she won. And when she came to the,
I remember that because I've been through all of these different pictures. That's great. That's a great story.
she did not want to do this. And when she got there and she saw it, her mom didn't know why she was there. Her mom was a little irritated. She said, what did you do? And when she saw the picture, she said, this is what you drew? And so they thought it was funny. The mom and dad thought it was funny. The dad came a little late, but when the dad got there, oh, he pumped this up. You would have thought this picture was $1,000 or more dollars. He told everybody, did you see my daughter? Did you see her drawing? That's my daughter. He just made a big old deal. And she was so embarrassed. She said, see, this is why I want to do it. But in the end, she got $25. She had a nice luncheon, and her dad made her feel like she was the best thing that ever walked the face of the earth. She took her painting home, and her dad bragged about it continuously, and the mom was so embarrassed. She said, you brought me out here. What is this? These fish? What is this fish? So it was really fun watching that particular student win that award. She was a student with very low self-esteem. She didn't really think much of what she did in class, and when she won this, it changed her perspective about school. And now she's in the 10th grade. So I am very proud of the students who have had an opportunity to participate and show their artistic side, because many of them think that it's too elementary, they can't do it. And when I tell them, you're competing with a kindergartner and a first grader, and you mean you can't draw a picture, and that to them is an insult. So they want to get the crayon and the paper and start doing some work. But these are our students who have participated, and it has been rewarding for them. And if you have the opportunity this school year to do so, I would encourage you to do so. Now,
may I add to that, as somebody who's watched a lot of the grading, we do have to be a little sensitive that we're not giving all the winners to the highest level school, yes, and all that. Mm-hmm. We do like a little dispersion and all those other kinds of things, but so it becomes tough. It becomes very difficult, but there's so many great pictures. I mean, just great. So thanks.
And some of those first graders are pretty good.
Yes, they are. Yeah, thanks.
And my students like, she was in first grade? Yes, this is a first grader. So, yes. Well, now at this point in the presentation, I want to challenge you. We often tell students that, I try to tell my students, and I know you do as well, I don't want to do anything, I don't want to ask you to do anything that I haven't tried myself. So I want to use the app Pear Deck, which is an interactive presentation tool that's used to actively engage your students, to get them to learn vocabulary, but not only learn the vocabulary, but what the vocabulary what it looks like. So the students have to not only define the word, but they have to draw the word too. And so in Pear Deck, it forces you to sign up as a team. And as a team, you must either define the word or you must draw the word. And whoever gets through the factory work station, because it's set up like a factory work station, whoever gets through first and actually does it right, they actually are considered the winner. And so if you haven't used Pear Deck in your classes, this is a great activity to use to teach your kids vocabulary. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to see how much you remember about these concepts and what they look like to you if you were to draw them. So you probably will have to open it up in a new window, but this is the website and the join code. And Chandler, am I correct? They will have to go to a new window to open it, correct?
Correct. You guys will need to either minimize Zoom and open up a new browser. It can be Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, whatever your heart desires. To make things a little easy, I put the link to Pear Deck in the chat. So if you can find the chat, you can actually just click right on it, and it's going to pull up the join. And then all you'll have to do from there is put in the join code, which is VXQLKP. Again, that's VXQLKP.
And when you open it up, you will receive a letter, and it's a pretend factory, and it tells you this is a letter from your foreman, and it gives you instructions as to what to do. Okay, and if you're in, I think it'll go ahead, you can go ahead and start. You will work with your group to make amazing flashcards to help you remember these concepts. Your teacher and your classmates will vote whether or not you've done well in creating those cards, and the team with the most chosen cards win the game. Okay? And you should be able to get in. Are you in yet? And my computer has frozen up on me. Okay. Can you get in from where you are, Chandler?
So mine is just showing me the, here are your tasks for the day, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that's what it's showing me too. And I can't, and my computer seems to be frozen from it. I hope it works. And technology always seems to find a way to embarrass you.
I was gonna say, I think you're with a group of people who can relate.
Mm-hmm.
So I just refreshed my screen to see.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can fix it on my end.
It may make you start a new session, if we have to try a new code, we'll try a new code, no big deal.
Okay. And I will, okay, so I have my, let's see if I can log in from my end. I may have to log in from my end to make it work.
That is okay.
Okay.
I'm going to talk a little bit while you troubleshoot. Thank you, Harmonica. This has been awesome. I hope you guys have gotten, not only are her stories really good, but we have learned some basic content and concepts. Just to put a disclaimer out there, last year was the first year that we started using financial literacy concepts as well. So we have expanded into financial literacy. I posted in the chat earlier, and I'll do it again here in a second. Let me do a little copy and pasting. This is a link directly to the brochure, which tells you in the chat, which will give you all of the information about the contest, like what she had on her slides. And then it also goes and explains each of the concepts. I know that's one of the things that sometimes students struggle with the most, is just like, what does it mean? What is an example of it? And there are a couple of examples of the pictures on that brochure as well. So that's just a great thing for you to have. It's an easy, print off or an easy send to put in Google Classroom. It's a PDF. And you can say, all right, guys, we're going to do this. You guys can pick one of these concepts and then, draw me a picture. And I know that being in this kind of, some of us are still remote, some of us aren't face-to-face. And so we may, there may be some difficulties there. The best thing about this is it's not due until March 15th. So you've got plenty of time to get it done. And if we get down, if it's February and we're still not completely face-to-face and you want your kids to try to do this digitally, I'm up for some inventiveness. So if you think that fits your students better, then just reach out to us. Again, we'll definitely be willing to work with you because we know that everyone is in a different type of environment right now. But it is fun regardless. So I hope your kids will have an opportunity to get involved. All right, where are we on Pear Deck?
Okay, so I can see that some of us are on and we have teams already created. So I'm going to press the go button and see whether or not it does anything for you.
Yeah, it's moving for me.
Okay. So you're going to get some words and you're going to try to follow the instructions that they give you for it, and it should kind of move on its own. I'm not seeing it on my end.
Okay. I know I froze too.
Yeah.
Give me a thumbs up if you're frozen on night shift.
Yeah. Are you frozen?
All right, everybody's frozen on night shift.
Okay, because I'm gonna reload and see what it does if I reload it. Okay, and it's just sitting. It's supposed to be, the little guy in the truck's supposed to be moving. Okay, let's go. Okay, there we go. Can you see it now? The words that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
An
okay.
example of goods and services is what I see. You guys,
okay.
Give me a thumbs up if you're seeing something.
Okay, so you choose a word, and you begin to, and you follow the instructions that it gives. Go back. Okay. So members of your group are, saying that you're working on your flashcards. And when you feel that you've done your personal best, you click the control button and it will take you to the next phase. Is it working for you? Okay, are you able to draw your concepts and define your words? On my end, it says that you're now working on your flashcards. Are you able to work on your flashcards?
I just knocked out of the Zoom because my charging finished off the computer, and I got it on my phone now, and I'm struggling to
Okay.
draw it.
Okay. Okay. Well, I can't see it from your end. On my end, as you draw or define the words, your card is supposed to fall down into the little slot down at the bottom.
Oh,
And
okay.
the more cards come in from your team,
Oh, really? I don't know if
yeah. Do you see the cards falling down into the movable assembly line at the bottom?
No.
Yeah, it's frozen on my end, so I can't see it from
So
your,
is it better to join it from the computer rather than from the phone?
you know, I never did it from the phone before, so I'm not sure. I'm
Oh.
not sure. Okay, it automatically put me in on the night shift, and it says that my team is completing the cards, but I can't see it from my end. So is there anybody able to see it? Okay, I'm looking at somebody drawing right now, a consumer, and so I'm gonna draw a picture of 10 picture of a consumer.
So it's working. I think it's just a little slow.
Yeah,
We won't spend too much time messing with it. But
yes.
yeah, no, it's a great, it's very cool. I was able to at least see the writing component. I think one of the things that I kind of got caught up on is that I could write on the, on the right side of my screen, but then I had to scroll on the left to hit that I'm done. So no, but that's a cool resource. So that's very, very cool.
And like I said, technology has a way of embarrassing you when you think you have something that's workable.
Cool, and then it doesn't work. Welcome to my life. If you guys have ever been in this thing with me, that is what happens.
When it works, students
it's wonderful. But that's when you're all alone by yourself doing something.
When it works, it becomes very competitive, and students they have a desire to do it again. So if you get a chance, perhaps you can go back and make you an account where you can create one to see how that works with your students and maybe in another venue. So with that being said, I apologize it didn't work as well as I would like for it to do for you, so you can illustrate those concepts for yourself. But we're going to come to a close. And in the chat, if you could use one of the average strategies known as G.I.S.T, which is a summarization of what you learned in class. It is a challenging activity at times. Students have a hard time trying to figure out, how can I say everything in 20 words that I learned today? How would I state that? So give yourself some time to think about it. And in 20 words, no more, no less, and I always tell my students to count them, write a summary of some of the things that you got out of the presentation today that you think you might be able to use, as Chandler said, late February, early March. And Chandler, I can't see the chat from my end, so can you let me know?
Yep, I will monitor it.
Okay.
We'll take about 2 more minutes for you guys to reply using the GIST summary. If you guys will do that in the chat. Perfect. We got some coming in.
Okay.
And the activity provided an opportunity to collaborate with team members. That's awesome. Yes, I can imagine in best case scenario that is a great resource, especially, like I said, as we're working in this remote or hybrid environment. So very cool added tool to put in our toolbox of all the cool econ or really just general, education tech tools. All right, we got another one that said, I learned how to connect economics and geography, which I never felt had much in common. Oh,
No, I thought the same thing.
All right, we said the poster contest that my students can participate in can help them learn and draw creative pictures of economic concepts. Awesome. I could see that the concepts could be illustrated. Yes, I think sometimes I looked at the concepts and I was like, now how exactly do you draw these? But yes, it can be done. So very cool. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for participating in that activity. I think that's a great way to wrap up a lesson.
So thank you for the time that you gave me tonight to share my experiences with you. I hope that you have an opportunity to also participate this school year with your students. And that concludes my presentation this evening. I appreciate appreciate you listening and participating and joining me tonight. And Chandler,
Thank you so much. Yes, this was wonderful. This was really great. I love that it was interactive, that you showed things from your classroom. I think that helps make it more real for those of us. Yes, I am going to send this presentation directly to you guys. I'll probably do that tomorrow morning. You'll get the presentation as well as any follow-up information. If you'll jump to your next slide, Harmonica, what I want to talk to you guys about real quick is the South Carolina Financial Literacy Master Teacher Program. When I introduced Harmonica, I introduced her as one of these SCFLMTs. We've got a couple of other ones in the house. Woo woo, I see you there. But for those of you who are not, I highly suggest that this be something that you look into. If you have any questions, obviously you can reach out to me. But the cool thing about this program is this is a program in connection with the Future Scholar 529 Savings Plan, which is the Treasurer's Office of South Carolina. And they are helping us fund teachers to provide professional development, just like tonight. So as much as we love Harmonica, she actually gets to walk away with this with a pretty check. And then in addition, they actually provide funding for you guys to attend PD just like tonight. And so that you can expand your learning, your understanding of personal finance and financial literacy concepts, as well as teachers and in your school and in your district and even statewide like we're doing tonight. So if you're interested in that program, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to give you some more information. We are rolling up with cohort 3 in January, so that will open up for applications. Then the cherry on top of the ice cream sundae, which has been tonight, is that on the next slide, Harmonica will tell you or will show you that because she is a South Carolina financial literacy teacher, and this applies to all of my South Carolina financial literacy teachers in the building or in the Zoom, you can qualify for an extra $100 for being in this presentation tonight. So the treasurer feels like it's very important to incentivize teachers to continue to spread personal finance. So if you plan on teaching a personal finance lesson to your students, and again, guys, we're not talking about like an entire block or an entire period, an entire day, just a simple personal finance lesson. Scarcity is a personal finance lesson. Opportunity cost can be a personal finance lesson. Any of those things to your students in the next couple of months, you can fill out this form, tell us what you did, tell us how you did it. We will have to document, what you did, those kinds of things, but I'm going to send all of this information to you in a follow-up. And if you do that, we will actually be able to send you another check for $100, which is awesome. So simply by bringing Color the Concepts into your classroom and showing your students all of the different financial literacy terms, just documenting the fact that you took the time out of your classroom to do that is enough to qualify you for this incentive. So again, like I said in my follow-up email that you guys will all receive in the morning, that will have all of the details about all of this wonderful and grand stuff. Now, I keep talking about money, but there's still more money that I have to talk about because quite a few of you are either getting near the end or, well, some of you have just started, but a couple of you are getting near the end of your 5 SC Economic webinars for $100. If you guys are not sure what I'm talking about, if you attend 5 webinars with us here in the fall, you are eligible to receive $100. And so the way that you do that is by, one, being here live with me tonight, which you all are. And the second thing is to fill out the evaluation form, which I just so gracefully put in the chat for you. So that is it from me. I don't know if Harmonica, if you have anything else you want to follow up with, you good?
No.
All right, I'm going to stick around and answer any questions. But like I said, I'm going to follow up with the presentation. I'll make sure I put the Color the Concepts flyer in there. And then there'll be information about how to get that additional $100 for teaching a financial literacy lesson in my follow-up email in the morning. Other than that, as soon as you're done with the evaluation, you may go about your wonderful evening. Again, thank you so much for sticking out with us tonight. We really enjoyed it. Thank you, Harmonica. This has been great. We really appreciate it. I will hang out just in case there are any questions, but other than that, you guys are dismissed. Thanks.
Thank you. Have